Hi, I'm Ghada Osman. I'm one of the full-time mental health counselors at Health Services, and along with my co-lead, Abby Bird, we oversee a team of 10 mental health counselors. Our counseling team offers sessions for students, 6 sessions per semester for students, as well as drop-ins as needed, and our team also facilitates groups for students. It's my pleasure to be here with you today to share 3 very brief techniques that I am hoping might provide relief during this difficult time. So each of these techniques actually just takes less than a minute to do. And at the same time, they can be a chance to reset during the day. So a lot of the time when we think of needing to take care of ourselves, we think of activities that take a longer time. So something that we enjoy, going for a hike, for example, or talking with a friend. And these are wonderful ways to replenish. And at the same time, it's really helpful for us to have ways of replenishing, of recentering during the day that are brief, that we can turn to in a moment that then help us to shift. So I'm going to offer 3 of those techniques, and I'm going to ask you to notice as I offer them which one might resonate with you and might be one that you can adopt during the course of your day. So to begin, I'm going to ask you to just notice how you're feeling in this moment, and perhaps thinking of a word that describes how you're feeling right now. And then taking a breath in and a breath out. The first technique that I'm going to share is one that's typically referred to as a 5-4-3-2-1. And it's what we call a grounding technique. So a grounding technique refers to something that might help us shift out of the million thoughts a minute that we have in our minds and into the present moment where maybe we can feel a little more centered, a little calmer. So for the 5-4-3-2-1 technique, we're going to begin by noticing 5 things around the room. So if that is something that is available to you, noticing 5 things around the room and calling out the names of those things. So I might notice a chair, a table, the floor. I might notice a lamp. I might notice a vase. Noticing 4 things that you're touching or are touching you. So, and you can feel around in order to be touching 4 things. So I might notice the table that I'm now touching, my legs against the chair, my feet on the floor, and maybe my clothes touching my body. Noticing 3 things that you hear and calling those out if that's available. So I can hear a truck outside, I hear sounds in another room, and I actually in this moment don't hear 3 things. I just hear the 2. So noticing now. Noticing 2 things that you smell. And noticing 1 taste in your mouth. And now taking a breath in and a breath out. And notice a word that describes how you're feeling now. Notice if it's a different word from the word you thought of before. And if this exercise resonated with you, then filing it away in your mind is something to return to. Doesn't have to be 5-4-3-2-1 the way we went through it. If, for example, in a moment you just notice 3 things that you hear and that's it, or 4 things that you're touching and that's it, that still can be a way to help recenter and be in the moment and out of what sometimes can feel like a lot of clutter in our minds. The second technique that I'm going to offer us today is one that's especially helpful when it's time to shift from one thing to another, such as, for example, at the end of the workday, when you want to shift from the end of your work to the rest of your day. So this exercise is called a container exercise. And the container exercise is one where we literally are going to imagine a container and we're going to put into it everything that we don't need at a certain point. So the container can be anything. It can be a jar, you can imagine a box, you can imagine like a Tupperware container, whatever comes to mind. The two most important things about the container are that it can be closed somehow and that it can hold everything that you don't need in a particular moment. So if we're practicing this right now, thinking of everything that might be on your mind that you actually don't need right now in this moment, knowing that you can go back to it, but you don't need it right now. And imagining that you are going to put into this container all those things that you don't need right now, thoughts that you don't need to be thinking about right now, maybe any memories that you don't need to be thinking about right now, whatever it is that you don't need right in this moment, putting it into that container, and then closing the container and moving the container out of the way. It'll be there when you need it, but you don't need it right now. So making sure that everything is in the container and that it's closed and moved out of the way. And throughout the course of the day, if you find yourself thinking about something that you don't need to be thinking about in the moment, imagine you're putting it into that container. And again, taking a breath in and a breath out. And noticing one word that describes how you're feeling right now. And if the container exercise resonated with you, then filing that away. The third and final exercise that I'll be sharing with you today is the hand clasp. So for that, clasping the hands together, and they don't need to be up like this. I'm just holding mine up so you can see them. Feel free to rest them on your lap. You just want to make sure you have enough room to move the fingers. With the hands clasped, now lifting the fingers of one hand slowly and lowering them down. Fingers of the other hand slowly, all at the same time, and lowering them down. And doing that 2 more times at your own pace. Feel free to go more slowly than I'm going, just making sure you don't go faster than I'm going. And once you finish the third time on both sides, taking a breath in and a breath out. And once more, noticing a word that describes how you're feeling. Noticing if this exercise resonated with you. And now, of the 3 activities that we did, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the container, and the hand clasp, noticing which one might have resonated the most, and envisioning turning to it during the course of your day as many times as you need to in order to reset. Thank you for watching. I hope that these techniques have been helpful for you and have brought a little bit of calm, a little bit of stillness during this challenging time.